Well, good morning, guys. Welcome back to The First Time Gardener. I'm your host, Ed, and today we're going to do a little update and a little bit of maintenance on our potatoes that are growing. So down here, I want you to look at our potatoes that are in the buckets. This one here is doing super good. The leaves are really going good. The stalks are really nice and thick, and we have all three plants up. All three potatoes came up and are growing well. So, and here's our other bucket here. Now we still only have one potato that came up in this one. The other two, I'm assuming by now we should have had some come up if they were going to come up. So I'm assuming they just rotted in the bucket. So today we got a little maintenance to do. It's been going on 5 weeks now since we planted these, and they're heavy feeders, so we need to give them a little bit of a boost with some fertilizer. So on the buckets here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of soil and I'm going to put some 10 fertilizer into the potting soil, mix it up, and then we are going to fill these buckets up maybe within 2 inches, 3 inches from the top of the bucket, and we're going to give them a good soaking, and that will give those guys a nice burst of energy and make those roots down below that are forming the tubers that are going to form into our potatoes, give them a nice shot of energy right now. So these are looking really good, and we're going to do some attention to the in-bed garden potatoes too. Let me go show you. All right, guys, so you can see here we don't have all the potatoes up that we planted. We're missing 2 here that I'm assuming just rotted out. They are not coming up. All the others are coming up, and these are about 12 inches 14 inches tall from the ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a process called hilling, and what we're going to do is side dress both sides of the potatoes with some 10-10-10 fertilizer. And then we're going to turn it into the ground, and then we're going to hill it up by digging the dirt from there and pulling it up onto the plant on both sides, which creates a hill that holds the main stem up, so that we don't want the plant to tip over. And especially in the winds and stuff that we get coming into the winter time, we get a strong rainstorm or whatever, or just a hard rain with hail, it'll beat those things down. So this will help control that from getting damaged through that. So I'm going to go through the process with you here on both the bucket and the in-ground, and then we probably going to do this possibly one more time before they're ready to be harvested, and then that'll be the end of the fertilizer until we see these tops start to die back, and that'll give us an indication that our potatoes are getting really close to being ready to harvest. All right, no further ado, let's get with it. Okay, guys, so what I've got here is I've just got some potting soil. This is just store-bought potting soil that I bought this morning at Lowe's, so I'm just using that. And then in this bowl, as you can see, I've got just 2 big handfuls of the 10-10 fertilizer, and we're going to just dump that in there, and I'm just going to give this a good toss around like that. And then we're going to take this and we're going to put some in these buckets here. Tell you what, just for showing you, let me take this out of here. Okay, so let's bring you down a little closer. All right, guys, so you just fold this back, and you can see got some ants in there too. Anyway, you can see where it's coming out of the ground. I'm going to break that one off. That's kind of bad anyway. All right. So you can see back in there. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're just going to fill that up. Give it a little bit more dirt in there and bring it closer to the surface. We're going to turn it around. Whoops. Sorry about that. We're going to turn it around and gingerly pull these back. You want to be very careful you don't snap these branches. And we're going to put some more dirt in there. So one of the reasons, and the main reason we're putting more dirt in these buckets and filling them up, is because these potatoes will be starting to grow toward the surface over there, and we don't want any sunlight getting into the potatoes and turning them green. So we are just doing this here. And that's it. So we're giving it a little boost of fertilizer. We're protecting the plant and the potatoes. And then we are going to get the hose and just water it in. So that's what we're doing right now. And that's about 2 to 3 inches from the top of the bucket. So that's good. You don't want to pack it down heavy, just kind of compress it a little bit. The water, when we get the water in here and soak down that bucket, it will compact enough that we need to. All right, so we're going to put this one back. All right. And now we're going to get the red one. We're going to do the same thing. Now this one, as you can see, only one potato sprouted. The other ones, I'm assuming, let's dig in here and see if we can grab them. See where they were. See, they didn't even start. They rotted. So you can see can't even find the potato that we planted. It all rotted, which that's fine. All right, so now we're just going to take this and I'm going to dump this in. All right. And we want to work it to, if you get a couple of these leaves covered up, don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt the plant. I try to not do it, but if you do, it really doesn't matter. All right. So we got that in there now. So that gave us about a couple more inches of soil on this one. We'll probably come back again in a week and just fill the rest of these buckets up within an inch on the top. And that'll be the last time we're going to address this for their growing cycle. The next thing after that will be harvest. I don't know if I showed you last time, but I've got the buckets on some wood here. And the only reason is I want some air space between the bucket and the ground for 2 reasons. One, it helps the ants from building up the soil to the bottom of the bucket and then using the bucket as their house and just taking over the bucket. And the other thing is, if it does rain hard and we get a big rain, the buckets get full of water, it gives a little air space for everything to drip down. In case the ground gets saturated, it can still drip out of the bucket and not rot the potatoes. So anyway, so that's done. I'm going to show you how to side dress the potatoes in the earth bed, and then we are going to water it in. So hang tight. I got to go get some more fertilizer. All right, guys. So I've got some more 1010 fertilizer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to side dress each of the rows, just like this. And I like to side dress it rather than put it around the plant, because what I can do is I can turn this into the ground really well so that it doesn't cause a hot spot and burn the roots of the potatoes. All right, guys, and I'm just using this here to all I'm doing is just turning it into the ground. I've got a little one. Oh. There's one of my potatoes I just poked out. That's a seed potato that looks like it's trying to make it but hasn't made it yet. We're going to stick that back in the ground. Maybe we'll be lucky and that'll come back and grow. All right, guys, so we got it incorporated into the ground. Now next I'm going to go get my other rake and we're going to what they call hill it. Okay, guys, so that's what I got. I'm just using a multi-toothed hard rake, and what you're going to do is you're going to come from the center. You're just going to dig down and you're going to incorporate that dirt right against the potato, and you're going to hill it up, and you want to bring it right up to the stem of those potatoes. And if you cover a few leaves on the potato, don't worry about it, it's fine. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to take that, we're going to bring it right up to the potatoes. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on this one. Okay, guys, and that's all there is to it for hilling the potatoes up. You can see it's got fertilizer in there, so as we water that in, that's going to work down into the roots and should make this puppy's jump. Let me grab the hose off of here with the nozzle and we're going to start watering these in. A light mist, not too strong. Going to even slow it down a little bit, and you can see we want to flood this bucket pretty good so all that fertilizer doesn't sit there, so it starts to get a little wet where it can absorb into the soil. And we're just going to keep going until we have some standing water in here in this bucket, and then we're just going to let it drain through. Okay, that one. Now we're just going to do this one. This bucket felt kind of light, so I think some of the soil in the middle of the bucket might be a little bit on the dry side. And potatoes do pretty well with drought conditions. They don't need a whole lot of water, but I'm going to just soak this once, and that's probably the only water it's going to get for 3 or 4 days. Make sure that gets plenty of water. Okay guys, that's the end of our update and maintenance for our potatoes. We'll do this probably one more time during the growing season, and then that'll be the last fertilization, and then we're just going to let it grow until they die back and tell us it's ready for harvest. And then of course we'll show you the harvest on the buckets, and then we'll do the in-ground when they're ready, show you what we get out of it. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. And for those of you who did, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And pass it along to all your friends. Let them know about our channel. And hopefully you're doing good in your garden today. So until we see you next time, thank you. Stay safe. God bless. Happy gardening. We'll see you on the next one.